Hello everyone, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and welcome back to the Jasper Cat Productions show. Now, if you're still watching this channel after my about month-long hiatus from my previous video, then that means you really anticipated me looking at the next volume in the Attack on Titan manga series, Volume 3. Now, of course, I'm going to be talking about this the same way as I did the other two volumes. So this video will of course contain massive spoilers for those who haven't actually read the series. Also, if this is the first video you're watching of this series, then you're gonna want to go back to my review of the first volume. Now, to start off the manga, the first thing that it actually shows us isn't a continuation of what is happening now, but is instead going a bit backwards and introducing us to the Survey Corps, a faction of the military humanity's created, who make it their duty to go outside the walls and try and conquer more land and learn more about the Titans that humanity doesn't already know. And of course, it also gives introduction to what's probably the most popular character in the Attack on Titan franchise, Levi, who is pretty much implied by several of the characters to be one of the strongest soldiers in not only the Survey Corps, but in also the entire military branch. And these pages do definitely make that true, as he does nearly almost all the work of killing all the Titans that they're trying to, of course, kill. But after we get introduction to these characters, we then go back to where we left off in the previous volume, where we of course found out that the Titan that was helping the soldiers get to the center castle was actually Eren, who has this strange ability to actually transform into a Titan, which of course scares the entire rest of the military, and it makes them unsure of whether or not they can trust Eren, which does make some amount of sense. But of course, the only characters who, of course, are still on his side are, of course, his friends Mikasa and Armin. And while the military does pretty much tell them that they're going to fire their cannons, Eren uses his power slightly to protect them from the cannon blast, and then they have a discussion as to what they should do. Like, of course, humanity is most likely not going to trust them, so they're thinking of stuff like Eren transforming into his full Titan and escaping the wall that way. But of course, that doesn't happen, and we then find out who gets the most character development in this volume, which is Armin, as this is the volume that introduces his pretty much most famous scene in the entire Attack on Titan series, which is the part where he gives this very long and serious speech about how they shouldn't be scared of Eren and should actually trust him, because his ability to turn to a Titan could be a very good asset to humanity. But of course, even after Armin says all this stuff, the humans still don't trust him, but one person definitely does, who is the leader of the garrison branch Pixis, who, while he is a pretty cool character as he seems like a relatively nice guy, some of his dialogue can be a bit questionable, to say the least. But yeah, of course, with Armin getting he pretty much is the major focus of the volume. He learns to be more confident in himself, and when he has an idea, he should just, go through with the idea. Of course, he still has problems with it, but this volume definitely does show a bit of his growth as a character. And with Armin now pretty much being in charge of how to block the hole that was in the wall that was destroyed by the Colossal Titan all the way back in the first volume, Armin has a plan to use Aaron's Titan power to block the wall using a gigantic boulder that's rather far away from the hole itself. So they're in charge of protecting Aaron from any Titans around, so that he can have a clear shot at blocking the hole in the wall. Of course, this plan doesn't work out at first, as Aaron loses control of his power and nearly punches and kills Mikasa, but he instead punches himself straight in the face, knocking himself unconscious, and pretty much putting the entire plan in jeopardy. But Armin does have a plan to try and wake him up and get him to continue the plan, which is where the volume comes to a close. Now, I gotta say, this volume, while it definitely did feel like a bit more focused, I would say, this definitely also felt like the most shortest. Now, even though it's not exactly a short volume, as you can see by these pages, it's about as long as the other two, but probably because it all takes place in one major setting, the inside of the wall, it's able to be a lot more focused, and there's only really two major things that the volume does, which introduces us to the Survey Corps and gives more development to Armin. Aside from that, the side characters are relegated to only brief cameos in the volume, which, if you've seen my review of the Volume 2 manga, I definitely much prefer it when the side characters get a bit more focused, because it allows us to get more of a grasp on how other people react in this world. But relegating it to more or less one character is probably more of a good thing for the overall story. I guess it's just a bit more of my personal preference. I like to see the side characters get some time in the spotlight. But it is still a relatively entertaining volume. It introduces us to, of course, some characters that are going to be much more of the focus in the later volumes. Just pretend that Jack isn't there in front of the camera. And if you read the other two volumes and want more of the overall story and like what you are seeing, then I definitely recommend that you give this a look. You can go sit down there. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this rather unusual return to the channel. And yeah, until next time, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and bye.